Self-discipline, though often misunderstood as rigid control or forced willpower, is in truth a gentle yet unyielding force that flows from within. It is not about suppressing our desires, but about refining them, channeling our energy, focus, and habits toward what matters most in our lives. The book Self-Discipline is a journey inward, an invitation to embrace responsibility, purpose, and inner strength, not as burdens, but as pathways to freedom. It is a call to rise above fleeting pleasures and compulsions, and to instead craft a life of intention and meaning. Through each page, the reader is reminded that the greatest victories are often those that are invisible, conquered in silence, within the chambers of the heart and mind. The essence of self-discipline begins with understanding the battle between two selves, the impulsive self that seeks immediate comfort, and the higher self that yearns for growth, excellence, and fulfillment. Imagine waking up each morning with 1,000 temptations, the comfort of a warm bed, the pull of social media, the desire to avoid hard tasks. These are not evil forces, but they are distractions. The book reminds us that each small decision in those moments becomes a building block of our character. Choosing to rise a little earlier, to delay gratification, to work a little harder, to say no when the world screams yes, these choices are not just habits, but sacred rituals of transformation. One of the core ideas in the book is the power of purpose. Without a clear purpose, discipline feels like punishment. But with purpose, discipline becomes devotion. Take the story of a young woman who once struggled with procrastination and self-doubt. She drifted from job to job, never quite finding her footing. But once she identified her true calling, becoming a therapist to help others heal, she found strength she never knew she had. Waking up early to study, saying no to social distractions, practicing deep empathy, all of it flowed naturally, not from force, but from purpose. The book teaches that when we connect our daily actions to a higher vision, we no longer feel enslaved by discipline, we are empowered by it. Another profound insight the book offers is the role of habit. We are, as Aristotle said, what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. The book encourages readers to start small, tiny, consistent actions that compound over time. Whether it's writing one paragraph a day, walking for 15 minutes, or meditating for 5, these seemingly insignificant acts are seeds planted in the soul. Over time, with patience and consistency, they bloom into greatness. The key is not perfection, but persistence. Just as a river shapes stone, so too do our daily habits shape our destiny. Yet, the journey of self-discipline is not without struggle. The book does not shy away from this. It embraces the emotional reality that discipline is hard. It requires sacrifice. It demands that we confront our fears, our insecurities, and our inner chaos. There is a chapter that speaks about emotional resilience, not just pushing through, but understanding and managing the emotional triggers that derail us. For instance, a man trying to lose weight doesn't just fight hunger, he wrestles with loneliness, stress, and old memories tied to food. The book urges compassion, reminding us that self-discipline is not about harshness toward ourselves, but about loving ourselves enough to do what is right for our future, not just what feels good in the moment. Self-discipline, the book explains, is deeply tied to self-respect. When we keep promises to ourselves, even the smallest ones, we begin to rebuild trust in our own character. This inner trust becomes the foundation upon which we can build a life of integrity and confidence. Conversely, when we break these promises, when we skip the workout, ignore the budget, or avoid the difficult conversation, we erode our sense of self. The book gently calls us to hold ourselves in higher regard, to live as if our actions matter, because they do. Every choice whispers a message to our soul: you are worthy of a better life, or you are not. And we get to choose which message becomes our truth. An inspiring section of the book deals with time, how we treat it, how we waste it, and how we honor it. Time, the book reminds us, is the only resource we can never recover. Discipline is, at its core, how we love time. People often say they don't have time for exercise, reading, or prayer. But the truth is, we do, we simply have not given those things priority. When we say yes to distractions, we say no to our dreams. The book challenges readers to perform a personal audit. Where does your time go, and does it reflect what you value? With poignant stories and reflective questions, the author teaches us to reclaim our hours, to design our days with care, and to approach each sunrise as an opportunity to become more aligned with our higher self. One of the most emotionally moving insights in the book is about failure. So many abandon discipline after one mistake, a missed day, a setback, a moment of weakness. But the book teaches that failure is not the end. It is feedback. It is part of the process. Think of a child learning to walk. They stumble hundreds of times, yet they persist. Adults, the book suggests, must relearn this grace for themselves. You will fall, and that is okay. The key is not never falling, it is always rising. Self-discipline means returning to the path, again and again, no matter how many times you stray. It is forgiveness in motion. The book also explores the impact of environment. We are not just products of willpower, we are shaped by what surrounds us. Cluttered rooms, negative people, digital noise, these things drain our energy and will. The book offers practical wisdom. Design your environment to support your discipline. Want to read more? Keep books within reach. Want to eat healthier? Fill your kitchen with nourishing foods. Want to stay focused? Turn off distractions. Self-discipline becomes easier not because we become superhuman, but because we remove unnecessary resistance. Another vital principle is delayed gratification. In a world obsessed with instant pleasure, self-discipline asks us to wait, to sow today so we may reap tomorrow. This is not a punishment, but a deeper joy. Like a farmer who patiently tills the soil and waters the seeds, we must invest in our future selves. Imagine the joy of financial freedom because you chose to save instead of spend. The health you enjoy because you chose vegetables over junk food. The love you sustain because you chose communication over ego. These joys are not accidents, they are rewards of discipline. And ultimately, the book brings us to the idea of freedom. Ironically, discipline is the only path to true freedom. Without it, we become slaves to impulse, to emotion, to societal pressure. But with discipline, we gain control over our destiny. We choose our response, our path, our outcomes. The disciplined person is not rigid, but empowered. They know when to say no, when to rest, when to act. Their life is not chaotic but harmonious. They are free not because they do whatever they want, but because they do what is best, even when it's hard. The transformation that unfolds throughout the book is not dramatic or cinematic. It is subtle, real, and deeply human. It's the story of a person who learns to rise 5 minutes earlier. Who begins to keep a promise to themselves. Who faces discomfort, not with fear, but with courage. Who builds a life not on fleeting whims, but on firm foundations. And slowly, over time, they become someone new, not because the world changes, but because they change within. Self-discipline is not just a book. It is a mirror, a roadmap, and a gentle companion on the lifelong journey of becoming. It asks us to live with honor, to dream with clarity, and to act with consistency. It teaches that the path to a beautiful life is not found in bursts of motivation, but in the quiet, daily steps of discipline. And as we take those steps, one day at a time, we not only change our habits, but we begin to transform our very being. The reward is not just success, but peace. Not just achievement, but purpose. And not just discipline, but a life that truly feels like our own.